If I could spend time outdoors, I'd do it. I've been close to the Arctic Circle, caribou hunting. I've been backpacking wilderness areas, North Manitou Island, climbed mountains and been in canyons, and I'd run triathlons and run a bunch of road races and been outdoors my whole life. On July 31st, 2009, as I was running up the steps, I got about halfway up and my tibia broke in half. I broke it on a Friday. They put me in a splint, which really hurt every time you move. I was thinking to myself, I wonder if this is bone cancer, because 6 months earlier I had snapped a patellar tendon, took off part of my kneecap playing basketball. We got to the hospital, they did x-rays. There was a hole about the size of 2 nickels side by side in my tibia, and of course the break was going right through where the hole was at. It had weakened the bone. Is that bone cancer? And they said, no, we don't think so. And so they put me in a cast, and I was in a cast for 3 months. They took a biopsy, cut my cast off. My tumor had went from not being able to see it when I broke it to the size of a softball. And as I was driving home from Detroit, I called my physician and asked him to refer me to Mayo. They said, Randy, we'd like to save your leg, but we'd rather save your life. 6 a.m. the next day, that was November 11th, they amputated my right leg above the knee. Losing this leg, it was an inconvenience for sure, but I wasn't going to let it change who I was. There's a point where going uphill, you start using the walking poles just like you were cross-country skiing. I was going through chemo, had 7 sessions of chemo that were 2 weeks apart. Terrible stuff, terrible monster chemo as it has to be to kill the smaller monster called cancer. They said, well, you need to go see somebody in therapy. So I said, well, who's your best? And I asked Dr. Brynsma that, and Dr. Brynsma goes, Jen McWayne. Jen sees the future. Jen sees the potential. Jen sees he's going to get over that chemo. Jen sees that she's going to change my life, and she did. It's kind of ironic. They cut off my good leg at Mayo Clinic. My left foot has a hammer toe, and it also had neuropathy from the chemo. And that's kind of where your foot is half numb, but it's like half on fire, and it just can't get comfortable, and it hurts. I know every chemo patient knows what I'm talking about. And so I went to see Brian Williams for some therapy for my foot. And he was a great encouragement as well. He gave me exercises, he put me through the paces. Brian was part of the reason that I can do what I'm doing today. I could see my finish line of the Grand Canyon. I often say, shoot for the stars, and if you only land on the moon, that's a great view too. We're flying out October 19th, and we'll be going into the canyon at sunrise, October 21st. The trip is planned for 5 days and 4 nights. I thought, I need to be an encourager of people because I'm feeling good. I'm alive again. How do I encourage other cancer patients and cancer patients that are fighting chemo? And how do I encourage amputees? And I thought, why don't I also encourage the American Cancer Society and make it a fundraiser? And so that's kind of my thought process of how I came about with the Grand Canyon Cancer Walk 2013. And so how do I do that? I thought, why don't I sell ribbons for $10 a piece, embroider the cancer patient's name on the ribbon, and if they passed on, it's in memory of. If they're in the fight, it's ITF. If they're a survivor, it's how many years since they were first diagnosed. There's 254 ribbons on my pack right now. I'm going to send the ribbons back to the donors once they've been in the Grand Canyon. This one young lady, she said, my mom passed away from breast cancer, and I can't wait to give the ribbon to my dad.